Just to kind of go off the statement that we released a couple days ago, obviously, we moved forward with relieving Todd of his head coaching duties. In the meantime, Jim Hiller was moved to interim for the remainder of the season to take over and to guide this team. This was done in an effort to correct the way we have played of late, our offense, our defense, our overall game. Individuals and the team have not been up to a level of our desired needs. So that part we'll take care of there. I'd like to thank Todd. I remember meeting Todd maybe five plus years ago in Kelowna, sat down, went over our team, went over the direction we were headed, the difficult decisions and the challenges ahead. He fully embraced them. He had instilled a belief in the players, a system and a structure that was able to take this team back to a competitive level into the playoffs. So for that, we are very thankful. And with that, I'll open it up to questioning.
Rob, 18 days ago, you said
Yep.
this wasn't an option.
Wasn't an option when we haven't played well since then.
Right. When did it change for you? Was it we're surmising maybe
Yeah.
the San Jose and Buffalo games?
Yes. I think we got back from, go back before that 41 game mark. We went on that trip to out to Florida, Tampa, and different things. Played games, had leads, given them up close games. Dallas didn't think we were in that game, end of a trip and different things. Came home, Nashville, San Jose, I believe. Didn't like the direction it was going back into the road, on the road into Colorado, and obviously St. Louis, and finished with Nashville. Nashville, we got the win, but we did not play well.
What steered you guys toward an internal promotion rather than an external hire? And once you made that determination, what was attractive about Hiller as opposed to maybe Yanni or Sturm, who had a little bit more high-level coaching experience as a head coach?
Well, as a head coach, I think Jim has a lot of coaching experience, head coach in the juniors for a number of years, and been with some, obviously head coaches in different organizations in Toronto and New York before coming here. Familiarity with our players. On that note, we would like to add an assistant from the outside. That will be a process here over the next few days that we'll look into, just to bring maybe a different look. But we saw, I've seen firsthand Jim in his role the last year and a half here, for the majority on the power play and different things. We've seen him be able to operate, and we're comfortable in the belief going forward with him.
How much was this change based off maybe a difference in coaching strategy or player development, or just looking to get a jolt of energy into the locker room?
Well, not player development, I don't think.
Deployment,
Possible. I mean, that will be Jim's final decision, obviously, with that. A lot of times we make recommendations and things, but I've always let the coach make those decisions. Listen, it's a different approach. Jim will have a much different approach in all aspects. And like I said, if we can add an assistant from the outside with a different look on our team, because I look at our season, there's 48 games, 24 were good, 24 have not been good.
Could different results on that road trip before the break change Todd's fate?
We are a win-loss. That's exactly where our team is. Everything we dictate from this point and from this going forward is based off of wins and losses. We have put this, so yeah.
Sorry. To follow, I think Andrew's question, obviously, like I said, you promoted Jim here. There are other names that are out there, head coaches that are out there.
Yeah, Jim's our head coach.
Yeah, I understand. Did finances
No,
play in?
Jim's our head coach.
Okay.
Rob, from our understanding, the conversation took place on Thursday night. The announcement came out Friday morning.
Correct.
Can you just tell us anything about that conversation at all? And was it the most difficult thing you've had to do as a GM?
Yeah, I mean, it's not just a coach. Todd and I, we've been together a long time. And, there's a cost to doing this job. And part of that is you're going to have a situation where it's not going to be favorable for somebody you care about. So I went over to Todd's house. I met him. We chatted for an hour and a half, almost 2 hours. So, yeah, this isn't good. This isn't a good day for me. It hasn't been a good 3 or 4 days. Tomorrow's a new day. But right now, it's not fun.
You said Jim will have a much different approach in all aspects. What do you mean?
Well, he's a different person.
Okay, but I mean in terms of
View different. Well, and then you can ask Jim that, but it's a different person in charge. So meetings are different, meeting times are different, approaches to the game. Every single thing will be different when a new person steps in.
To build on that question, does it maybe help the fact that Jim is not a disciple of McClellan, meaning that he's from the outside, he's new?
He's fairly new to the group, right? But he's also had some experience in other staffs under reputable coaches and different things, and been in the league for a large amount of time. And like I said, we hopefully can add an assistant from the outside that may have a different perspective than even what Jim in his short time would have.
Rob, you say you're a win and loss type of guy, and this is what.
No, not type guy, type of, I think we're in that situation now.
Okay, but how impactful were Drew's comments
Yeah.
last week about cookie time?
Well-
Are you concerned about the room?
No.
Was that impactful in making this decision?
Not impactful in the decision. I think, listen, when you go through stretches when you don't win, there's meetings with me, there's meetings with the coach, there's all the different. In my experience, player to player is really where messages get sent home. So Drew coming forward, what they do behind the scenes to take care of that is more important and most important. But I do believe in my experiences, player to player seems to solve a lot of those issues, more than I'm going to be able to talk to these guys.
Did you meet with Drew after those comments?
I've met with players over many times here, yes.
Coming back to what you said about the conversation with Todd, I know you guys have a close working relationship and probably a friendship. I mean, do you feel any sense of responsibility with his departure and
Yeah.
dismissal? And also, what is your sense of your own job security?
Yeah, it's my responsibility to hire Todd. It was my responsibility to let him go the other day. And I fully understand the repercussions if this team does not win or have success.
Jim's been said to be very personal. He talked about that, like I said, that one-on-one approach whatsoever. Having talked to some people about him. How much do you think just different demeanor, different
Well,
way about going, messages whatsoever,
that-
factors into
yeah, that's
creating the charge you want? Yeah.
that's why these changes take place. To Helene's point, everything is different. His one-on-one meetings will be different than Todd's, which were different than any other coach. So when they say different voice, different, everything about the person is different. Now assistant coaches are really good at staying exactly in their lanes going forward. When they take a head job, those things come out more.
Rob, with making this change, how much did you, I think this is the sixth coaching change this year, just how much? Sixth or seventh?
Okay. No, you mean from the outside? Sorry, I should let you
Yes,
finish.
we're that threshold
general.
Yeah,
this year.
no, that doesn't have any weight on what we do here.
But just seeing the bounce that other teams have gotten, are you hoping for the same, I mean, Edmonton with the change, look at them now.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we're based off, we have 34 games left. Our job is to get in the playoffs. The team was built and assembled to get in the playoffs, and that's what we need to do. So that will be judged on wins and losses.
Speaking of how the team is built and assembled, you and Luke laid out some fairly specific and definitely lofty expectations for PL. I
Yeah.
would say, in hindsight, he hasn't really fulfilled those.
Yep.
If you had the opportunity to do it again, the entire series of moves to acquire it, would you in hindsight?
Yes, this is a team that we built to make the playoffs. Now, individually, I said that there's numerous players here, and I'm going to break it down from 24 games to the last 24 games that have not been up to their potential, him included, but the team overall needs to be better too.
Rob, we know your cap space situation.
Yeah.
And that wouldn't be an option. It could be an option to make a trade if you probably traded a player of consequence that has contract term left. Would that be an option if Jim doesn't turn the ship around?
Well, those are always options, I think. I don't think they're ever not on the table in any situation. But we believe that this group, when it was assembled, it was a playoff caliber team. Still in the playoffs today, had a good run early, definitely slipped here the last 24 games.
You can obviously go bring up guys from Ontario as you have recently.
Yeah.
Whatsoever. But how much flexibility do you have? I mean, I know you got Phoenix's LTIR that maybe gives you a little bit of whatsoever, but you got to bring Arvidsson back. Just how much flexibility do you have in terms of being able, if you need to, being able to make a move or whatsoever before the deadline?
It's kind of two-part. Right now we have flexibility because we have LTI space. We have a couple of players in Arvidsson, possibly Lizotte, headed in that direction. Arvidsson is getting close. He's been skating here the last little while. Probably join our team here before on our practice on Thursday. It would be purely speculation. If everybody's healthy, we don't have a lot of space. We would be able to carry one extra player, just like we started the season.
I'm sorry, could you elaborate on any kind of Lizotte update? It sounds
I don't have an update on him. Yeah, I mean, he's not on the ice, so.
Yeah.
What's your sense with the situation with Brant Clark and George Spence, the kind of deployment? Was that
Yeah.
more of a McClellan decision or more?
That was the group. We made as a group, but we felt it was time to get Brant games.
Rob, did you talk to the leadership group about this at all?
Not in general about the coach specific.
Have they contacted you?
No.
Have you- So no,
No.
coach, no team, no players reached out?
No, but I've met with every player, different groups of players over the course of probably the last 2 months.
Todd, Todd, I'm sorry, Rob, it's a small sample size, with Clark and with Turcotte, but
Yeah.
have you liked what you've seen
Yeah.
so far enough that it's maybe gonna cause you to change direction a little bit come trade deadline to maybe
Yeah.
find a spot for them in the roster full-time?
Yeah, I don't know about direction. We've always had the direction that those guys will help us. It's nice to see them get games. I think Brant established himself early on that, but Alex has had a good year and he's come up and played well. The games that we needed him there. So.
Any thoughts about Clark's fight on Saturday?
Yeah. So, well, it tells you that he does have that ability, and if you watch the game, it was he kind of initiated it. So good for him.
How do you think losing all those one-goal games
Yeah.
affected the team's confidence
Very-
here?
a lot,
in the couple weeks?
a lot, very very much. Yeah, confidence, and if I could describe it to you, I wish I could, but it's the same players we've had here. 24 games in, when we were doing things really well, playing hard. The word that has been used lately is a disconnect, like our team has played disconnected, I think. I don't think the last little while here we were going in the same type of connection we had early in the season.
Is it difficult to focus on the fact that you're still a playoff team, but you're not close to playing like a playoff team?
Yeah, no, that's fair assessment, but yes, as today we are a playoff team with, what do we got, 15 losses? What's our record? 23, 15, and 10.
How worried are you about the goaltending?
Well, we need, like I said, individuals and team, numerous individuals, and that's positions too, defense, forwards, and goaltenders. We need to be better.
Just to get back to the idea of you're saying a new voice, having a new person and new meetings, everything is going to make it different. But do you want to see a change in strategy on the ice? Do you want to see anything different on the power play, on the penalty killing?
Penalty killing, no.
Defense, anything?
Penalty killing right now is first. Power play's 15th. I think right around that area. It's been that way all year. Power play took a jump last year, but it isn't at the level I want. Offensively, yes, we have to be better. Defensively, we have to be better. 24 games, we were scored the most goals in the league. The next 24 were 32nd. It's a huge drop.
Where,
There's a conversion issue that factors in there. Probably, I forget the amount of goals on the expected chart over a 24-game period was way up. Then our defensive game started to slide too. So yeah, we need improvements in all those areas. Penalty kill is the one main consistent right from day one.
Coming back to a couple of your earlier comments, you had said that the Buffalo and San Jose losses were sort of a tipping point. After the Buffalo loss,
I don't know if they're tipping points, but they didn't go in the direction we wanted it to.
well, I mean, maybe a determining factor in the coaching change or something that was kind of, this is what you said earlier, if I misunderstood.
I don't think that was one game. There was a determining factor. I said we came home from that trip. We have not played well since then. I'll start with San Jose on to Buffalo. Nashville was in that mix.
Sure, yeah,
and then-
even with the win, they didn't play especially well, but,
Nashville at home, sorry.
Correct, oh, sorry. But as far as the Buffalo loss itself, afterwards, both Drew and Kopi
Yeah.
made it a point to say that the coaching staff was not the issue.
Yeah.
And also you said that you didn't meet with them specifically regarding the coaching change. I just trying to kind of reconcile that. I mean, was this mainly to get a new voice in
Yes.
and try and get new energy, or was there something?
Yes,
more
both
to it?
those. Both
Okay.
those.
Thank you.
Rob, have you had a chance to talk with the leadership group, captains and that, and maybe with their feedback or anything you can?
Not in the last few days. They haven't, obviously, from that All-Star break, they've been off. But I will meet with this group here, I think Thursday we're back.
Any
Jim-
news on,
Jim-
I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, Jim's long been known as having a bright offensive mind, and now we've seen his
Yeah.
impact
Yep.
since he's come here. Do you see where there will be changes in that regard? You want improvement. Offense is one of the elements that you want to see improved.
Yes.
How do you think he can impact that? Do you see where there will be some systematic change on the ice, maybe a little shift away from the 1-3-1, or at least not as much of a
Yeah.
commitment to it? Or?
I don't know if I'm going to get into the systems and structure. Part of the timing here does give Jim some days here with our group before our next game. Sometimes when this happens, it's in between games, right? So, but yeah, as far as systems and structures, I'm not going to get into that here.
Early in the season, you'd mentioned that you might convene with Matt Roy about a contract extension
Yeah.
around Christmas. Obviously, that didn't happen. I know at your
Yeah.
last availability, you
Yeah.
had mentioned
Yeah.
that that was probably something to wait till the end of the season.
Yeah.
Is there any new development there? And
No.
if this continues to trend in a direction, would you maybe look at something with the deadline?
I don't know. It's hard to speculate the direction. Wins and losses will dictate. I think I stated that earlier, and that will state for the direction of this team.
Rob, when you first met with Jim and talked about moving him into the role, what were maybe 2 or 3 of the key points that you guys landed on as that needs, to happen besides the obvious improve the offense, the defense, and the goaltending?
Well, those are the obvious ones. We did go over player by player. The desires that we have for these players. A lot of players are established and they have backgrounds on how they play. Some of our younger players may not. You always hope for progress there, but we have a good read on what our players are, our desires from their expectations. And I've covered that with Jim and that we have to get them back to that level.
Rob, there's been speculation about Arthur Kaliev asking
Yeah.
for a trade out
Yeah.
of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Like your thoughts about his season, his future,
Yeah.
what's going on with him?
Well, it hasn't went well this year for him, in and out of the lineup and different things. We had higher understanding of where he would be at this time of this season, but it has not worked that way.
Is he unhappy here?
I don't think anyone's happy when they're not playing.
What is it about Jim that makes you think and believe that he will succeed and help
Yep.
you get where you?
Familiarity with the team, being around him here for the last year and a half, and understanding his perspective and ability to communicate different with players and different things. There's a lot to Jim. He's also been a head coach in the juniors for a long time, so you're running a lot more than just the bench during those days, and he's been an assistant under some very good head coaches and been in the league a long time. We were comfortable putting him in charge for the remainder of this season.
What are your expectations for Dubois going forward?
Well, we want him to help our team win, help this team win, help it be harder to play against, help the offense and help the defense.
You talked about a disconnect on the ice. What's your sense of
Disconnect in the way we played, yes.
disconnect the way we play? What's your sense in the cohesion off the ice and in the locker room?
I've been fine with it.
Do you see Dubois at center or wing for the balance of the year?
Center, but yeah, hey, whatever. You're right. Now I say center. Now you could have injuries right away, or different things that may change that around. But yeah, center.
Along those lines, Byfield, we've seen move back into the middle some. Do you
Yeah.
expect him to be back and forth, or what do you anticipate there?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, drafted as a center, very productive here of late on the wing. I think once Arvidsson is back in our lineup, it does shift a little bit of balance of the top wingers in different positions in that. Byfield is an option at center, whether it's now or moving forward, that he's played those positions.
And Arby, you expect to be on track for sometime after the road trip still?
Hopefully during the road trip. I think he will participate in practice starting Thursday when we return. So a matter of getting up to speed. Right now, everything has looked and progressed the way we had hoped.
I just have one on Quinton, just to take advantage of the opportunity here. What is it about particularly his development that you've seen? What are the aspects that you've seen where he's really made that growth and that step or two or whatsoever as a player?
Yeah, I think just production for sure, number one, but just the ability to keep plays alive, using his speed and his length, the ability to play with good players. Like I said last time we met here, he added a power play to that resume. So the overall game has taken a big step. The games he was not with us on the road trip, it was a big hole there for us.
He was always thought to be someone that was going to take a little more extra time whatsoever. Is this
Yeah.
about that, right about that stage where you thought?
Well, he's
he was-
definitely headed in the right direction, yes.
Rob, was there pressure on you from above to make
No.
the coaching change, or was
No.
it completely
This was I was responsible for hiring and letting him go, yes.
I know you've given him the extension for
Yep.
next year.
Yep.
Is that,
That was my responsibility also, yes.
Rob, how much of a concern is it how you performed on home ice this year?
Yeah, it hasn't been good. Game under, what are we, 8-9 or something like that right now, 8-9-6, something like that. Yeah, no, it hasn't been good. The road has been good. I don't, wish I had an exact answer why.